Good morning. Welcome back to Sow, Grow and Cook on a really hot August day. I'm sorry I haven't been posting so much of late, but we've just been incredibly busy. It's harvesting time. I'm trying to preserve things. We've got a lot of animal duties and there's just lots of outdoor jobs happening. And with the heat and things, you just want to kind of get on with stuff as quickly as you can and as efficiently as you can. And sometimes videoing, as much as I want to do that and show everybody what we're doing, just slows the whole process down. I'm sure you can all understand what it must be like. But I try my best and I hope to be videoing more in the future. But today I'm going to be focusing on some different ways that we use here on our smallholding or homestead that helps us save money. And I know there's a lot of videos out there that are focusing on frugality and money saving tips and things. So some of my ideas are not going to be new ideas, but some might be. And the other thing is, when I say homesteading or homestead or smallholding, you don't have to live on a small farm in order to do some of these things. You can have an urban homestead, or you can have, you can just live a homesteading type life, cooking and growing and producing as much of your own stuff as possible, even if you live in the suburbs or town. So you can scale up or down accordingly. And a lot of these ideas hopefully will still apply. Okay, number one, only because I'm doing it currently, is batch baking bread. If you eat bread and you don't want to buy it from the supermarket all the time, get your flour, learn how to bake bread, and make it in large batches so that when you're using your oven, you're economizing on the energy that you use with your oven. So I'm not just putting one loaf of bread in the oven to cook. I'm doing 4 loaves. So I'm kind of filling up the oven here. And I'm doing this now. I'm making bread using a lot of my leftover goat's milk, the milk that's beginning to go just a little bit beyond best for drinking. So it's still safe to use, but it's getting a little bit of that goaty taste, or just beginning to go sour a little bit. But if you put it in bread, it's absolutely fine. You don't taste that, and it still imparts a really nice soft crumb. So rather than throw the milk away, I'm putting it in bread dough. But batch baking is the one tip that I'm suggesting people could try if they eat bread. Okay, following on a little bit from this, bulk buy food and share the cost with a friend or neighbor or neighbors. So if, for example, you think, well, what am I going to do with a 20-kilo bag of bread flour? I mean, we go through 20-kilo bags of bread flour fairly regularly because I don't buy any bread from the shops. I make it all. But if you think that that's just going to be too much for you, you could get a 20-kilo bag of bread flour and share the cost with a friend who also likes to bake and maybe doesn't want a whole bag themselves either. And you can often save quite a lot of money doing that. You can do that with other things too. Buying porridge oats or beans or rice or anything in large quantities and sharing the cost with somebody else or other people. Okay, so that's another good tip. We've done that. And if you're a meat eater, the same would apply to purchasing meat. Try and buy locally from a farmer, a local producer, because that helps them as well. And your food miles are often reduced then as well. And you get to know where your food is coming from, which is always a really big deal for us here. Okay, another money saving tip is barter. So you can barter with items, you can barter with time, you can barter your skills. We had the permaculture group come and do a work morning the other day, and we got the dead hedge extended around our vegetable garden, and they built a couple of raised beds, and they did some weeding, and they did some topping up of paths with wood chip. So that was done really quickly in a couple of hours, and it was very social, and we had a shared lunch and things, so that was lovely. And the expectation is that we will go and do a work morning at somebody else's small holding or homestead, and no money changes hands. It's just giving your time and sharing time and effort. And as they say, many hands make light work, and it's a lovely thing to do. So consider bartering. We've also bartered. We've used food like money as well. So I've bartered eggs for honey. We've bartered firewood for other things, and vice versa. So use items as a form of payment rather than having money exchange hands. It's a really good way. It's a very old way of conducting business and getting the things you need and want. Okay, another one to do is save seeds. Now, I know I've talked about saving seeds in the past, and a lot of you do that already. But for those of you who don't do it, consider doing it. There are sometimes shortages in supplies for seeds, so commercially purchased seeds can be in short supply. The prices go up, and sometimes you can't find your favorite seeds when you need them. And if you're all trying to grow food for yourselves, then having your own supply of homegrown and saved seeds is a really good idea, because often the seeds that you save from your own crops grow especially well in your own garden again the following year, because they've kind of acclimatized to your soil and your temperatures and things. And I often find the germination rate is very, very good. So tomatoes are a really easy one to save. Peppers, beans, peas, certain herbs and things like coriander and dill and parsley are excellent to save. And again, they will grow especially well in your garden again because they've acclimatized. Okay, following on from the seed saving and garden thing, I would say cook seasonally and with what you've got growing. So rather than make a menu and then go shopping at the supermarket or grocery store to get all the items to make whatever it is you want to eat, instead do it the other way around. Go to your garden, your allotments, whatever, pick what's ready and look at it and come up with a recipe that uses those ingredients. Okay, it might be really obvious what you can cook with what you pick, but you may need to use a little bit of creativity. You know, if you've got some courgettes, I've got a ton of them currently, lots and lots of these, and beans and things. What am I going to make with courgettes and a lot of string beans? I might make a vegetable curry, okay, or I could make a frittata, or some sort of omelette. That's the other thing. With a few eggs and a load of vegetables, you can make any kind of omelette you want. It's just delicious. You know, try vegetable combinations that you didn't think would go together. You know, courgettes and Swiss chard, onion and a little bit of chopped broccoli, stir-fried gently and then stuffed into an omelette with a little bit of cheese if you want. Delicious. So try to make use of what you've already got, rather than going to the supermarket to always rely on somebody else's product. Okay, so that's another tip that we do that I hope you'll try as well. Okay, if you have livestock, even just chickens or rabbit, try and grow as much food stuff for your livestock as possible. So when we have overgrown courgettes that get too big, I try and pick them when they're small and very usable and tender and tasty. But if they do get away and I've missed them, I will give them to the chickens. The chickens absolutely love them. We also grow a willow hedge parallel with the side of our vegetable garden. That's mainly to absorb the excess water because we live in Wales and it rains a lot here, especially in the winter time. Yes, it's been a little bit dry of late, but normally we do get quite a lot of rain. So the willow hedge will help soak up some of the water, but they grow quite rapidly and we've got a lot of green growth. And we trim those down every now and again and feed the willow branches to the goats. They absolutely adore it. It's like crack for goats. I mean, they go mad for willow branches. Absolutely love it. The same goes with Jerusalem artichoke, the green bits that grow above ground. I grow it mainly for the goats. Some of it I let flower and attract the pollinators. And the goats could eat the tubers as well, but mine don't seem to like them yet. Maybe I'll keep trying until they do. We grow extra kale for the chickens, the poultry, and the goats, and the sheep even like a little bit of kale in the winter time. So there's lots of things that you can grow that are easy to grow, or maybe you didn't think were edible for your livestock that you can feed to your livestock. And that will help save a little bit of money on your feed costs. Okay, next one is if you have a log burner, start collecting your kindling now, okay? When the weather is hot and dry, go out and collect some sticks, twigs, break them up if you need to, if they're too big, and put them in a big empty feed sack or rubbish bag or what have you, and keep them somewhere safe and dry for the winter. Don't spend money on nicely made kindling wood to start your fire. Collect your own. There's lots of trees and things out there. Use bits of old bark that you find lying around. Pine cones are another good one. Somebody on a Facebook page mentioned tea bags dried out make good kindling. A friend of mine mentioned broad bean pods or fava bean pods that are dried out also make good fire lighters and kindling to get fires going. We save egg cartons to put our chicken eggs in, but eventually they degrade or they fall apart. We don't throw them away. We either compost them or we tear them up and we use those as fire lighters as well. So there's lots of things that you can use to start your fire in your wood stove. Now, if your wood stoves have got flat surfaces, I know some are pitched like that, so maybe not those I'm talking about, but the ones with the flat surfaces, and you've got some clearance from the flat surface to wherever your wood stove is. Many are freestanding, some are tucked into a fireplace insert. But if you can put a kettle on it, this is one that we put on one of our wood stoves in the winter, and we always have a kettle of water hot, ready for cups of tea or coffee, or to fill up a hot water bottle, which is a very British thing, I know, to then put in the bed before you go to bed, and it just warms things up a little bit. Do that if you can. Also, if you have enough room and the surface of your wood stove does get nice and hot, which if it's hot enough for water, it should be hot enough for cooking. So you can cook, slow cook stews and casseroles. You could even fry an egg on a fry pan. If you're going to heat your house anyway, might as well use that residual heat to cook your dinner. It's going to save you electricity or gas or oil. So, you know, be creative about what you can cook and put it in a big saucepan and put it on top of your wood burning stove. Now, those are just some ideas. It's not an exclusive list. I'm sure there's things that we do that I've forgotten about and I haven't listed. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, well, why didn't she mention this, or why didn't she mention cleaning products, etc., etc. I haven't actually got the skills yet to make cleaning products, but I'm sure people out there can help me by posting stuff in the comment section below about cleaning products. In fact, share some of the ways that you save money in your homesteads, your urban homesteads, your farms, whatever, because people can scale up or down according to where they live. And I'd be really, really interested to know what other people do. So those are just some of the ways that we save money here where we live. And once again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to be posting more videos very shortly. Bye for now.